Welcome to the RACSINFOTECH guys. In this demo session, I'm going to explain what are all the topics we are going to cover, why we need to learn Oracle RAC DBA, and we are going to discuss about the difference between the non-RAC or standalone DB. These things, both. Somebody will say it's a standalone DB and non-RAC means the same. And what is mean by the RAC? The difference is also we are going to cover it as part of the architecture and all. Okay, let me give you the high level things. In this demo session, we are going through the introduction and the course index, course duration, and when we are going to start the batch, and the course timings and fee structure. We will talk about those things and contact information through the WhatsApp or the mobile. You can directly call. WhatsApp chat or WhatsApp calls are available, okay, on this number, or else through mail ID you can contact me on this racsinfotech@gmail.com. This thing. Okay, first of all, the introduction part. Before going through this introduction, I'm going to show you some of the social media channels where I'm going to share my knowledge and all. So Anjani Apps DBA is my blog where I have shared all these DBA knowledge, core rack apps, OCI cloud. If you want to see the OCI, you can go through that OCI cloud related, how to create a groups, how to create a users in a cloud and all, shell scripting. If you are interested to learn basic shell scripts, like these two are the important commands where we are going to use in Linux platform. And so much knowledge I have shared about that. 18C databases, 19C database, 23C database. Yeah. And another option is RACSINFOTECH YouTube channel. There I'm going to provide you the upcoming session details and also core and RAC databases basic details. Those also have shared it over there. Also one of the LinkedIn. There also we have RACSINFOTECH DBA training group is there. If somebody wants to join and follow, and if you want to chat with me one-on-one, you can chat on this. If you have to join this group and then chat me on it. And WhatsApp group also there we have for RACSINFOTECH Oracle channels. I already given in the description. You can go through this chat and get it those details. That's all about the social media where I'm going to share the knowledge and all. This blog has been recognized the top 60, 60th place in the throughout the globe. So it has a huge information. That's all about the social media where I'm going to share it. Introduction of myself. I'm also having 10 years of experience in the IT industry as Oracle DBA, Apps DBA, and RAC. And also I do have an experience on middleware, SOA, WebLogic, and the cloud side, OCI, AWS, and Azure cloud side do have an experience. I'm the trainer. I have trained more than 10 batches till now. So hundreds of students I have trained, even in the professionals, those who want to change their career from different technologies to Oracle DBA. Total, that is, I mean, I'm a Oracle Ace member. Because of sharing the knowledge to the social media, we used to get recognition from the Oracle University. That we can able to see it. Oracle Ace. This is the program where Oracle has been introduced. See, Oracle Ace program. Those who are sharing knowledge via the social media and whatever the Oracle blogs or sites or in our social media throughout the globe, Oracle has been recognized the peoples. So if you want to search my name, I'll get it here. I'm a Oracle Ace member. So throughout the globe, we are having only few members, like 400 people is there recognized through the Oracle University. I'm the member of this. Yes. Next, we can go through our topic, course index. Course index I have placed in my blog, Anjani Apps DBA. You can go through it. In the month of March, you can go through it. I'm writing this blog since 2015. Still, I'm continuing this. So Oracle RAC DBA training. In this post, we're going to see its actual batch is starting from the 9th of April. Today the 6th and 9th means Tuesday. Tuesday we are going to start it from the evening session, 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. IST. We are only on weekdays. We are going to start this Oracle RAC DBA course. Duration is 35 hours and it's a minimum, guys. It's a minimum, and a maximum it could be like 40 hours or 45 hours, depends upon the topics which we are going to add it. Whatever the topics I have shown it here, I'll give you more topics as well, not the less topics. Okay, and I mean, whatever the duration which we are discussing, it's a minimum 35 hours, maximum 40 or 45. We are going through it according to that topics. So we will cover everything within 35 hours, whatever we are going to discuss about now. The course fee is 15K. And today we are going to offer it to those who are going to attend the today's morning and evening. Evening, we have one more demo session at 7:30 p.m. IST. So we will give you the discounts according to that. So contact me on these numbers. And the course index, Introduction to Oracle RAC. Any course without the introduction, without that architecture, we are not going through the course completely, right? So first of all, we need to discuss what is RAC, why we need to learn Oracle RAC DBA. Those we are going to clearly discussing about those things, advantages and use case of the RAC, architecture of the RAC, and very, very important things. These are the components, key components of RAC. We have huge number of components, but out of those n number of components, these are all the high level, like important or key components in a RAC. What is meant by the cluster where? What are the database instances? What is mean by the ASM instance, ASM storage, and what is mean by the VIP scan, public IP, private IP. Those are all the IPs, how we are going to, like, as part of that interview also used to get most of the times, what is the difference between VIP and scan IP? We have separate topic where we are going to discuss complete understanding of the VIPs and scan IPs. High availability and scalability in RAC. That's where, right? RAC is for high availability and scalability. The performance improvement purpose RAC has been introduced. So we are going through discuss like complete understanding of what is meant by the high availability and scalability things. And the module 2, we are going to discuss about the RAC installation and configuration. From the step 1 onwards, I'm going to show you how to prepare the instances in locally on your own PCs. You can able to install it. For that, I used VirtualBox, Oracle VM, Virtual Box Manager software. You can download it from the Google and then you can install first VirtualBox. Later on, you can create an empty machines like this. One rack 4. And which location you want to store, that one you can select it. Wherever you have a free storage, you can choose that and select the folder. I have free space on my E drive. Then you can choose what kind of operating system you are going to install on this machine. So why we need to use this virtual machine? Simple answer is any system which is going to support only one operating system at a time. Sometimes in parallelly we can install 2 operating systems on this machine, but we cannot use it both of them at a time. Okay, even though in this system I can install the Windows operating system and also I can install the Ubuntu or Linux operating system. Parallelly we need to do certain kind of customizations, but we cannot use both of the things in parallelly. For that purpose, if you want to use multiple operating systems in a single machine, we need to install the virtual machine. And then we can divide it. We can create a number of machines inside of your virtual box like this one. Primary, standby, dev, rack 1, 2, 3, servers. So which operating system you want to install? Windows you want to install, Linux, Solaris, IBM OS, Mac, other. I can install my Linux machine. Click next. Then how much memory you are going to assign, 2 GB, 4 GB, 6 GB. According to that, how many CPUs you are going to add to that machine. Suppose I want to give 4 GB memory. This is a 4 GB RAM and 1 CPU I'm going to assign. That's it. How much storage you are going to provide? 20 gig. Simply. This is the storage, guys. So click next and then finish it. Our machine is created. RACS4 machine has been created. Now I want to install my Linux software. For that, I need to create in the storage. Here we have a controller IDE. Here you can click on this or click on empty. Here you can select your operating system. Suppose I want to install Linux operating system 7.8 or any other softwares. So 7.8, if I want to select it, so my software has been selected. Click OK. Then you just do the start option. That's it. Your Linux boot will be there, and then there you can click on next, 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 select the software. Your Linux will be installed. Very simple, right? So in this way, I'm going to show you each and everything to prepare the instances. After that, if you don't want to use this, delete all the files, including this thing. So RACS formation I have deleted. So very easy and flexible to install or create a machines, multiple machines on a single virtual box for that purpose. How you're going to do that, I'll show you, like how I showed you just before. After that, install the Linux, then installing the database software. See here, preparing the cluster nodes, installing the grid software, database software, the post installation steps, everything we are going to see it. It could be the rack 1 node or 2 node or 3 node or 4 node. We can go through it. As of now, we are having 3 node rack. Okay, 3 node rack, I have installed it. And while you are installing, if any issues you faced it, we are here in support you. We have a WhatsApp group live, that is lifetime access, which I'm going to provide after you register. You can share the errors which you are facing so that we can, I can, or our team members can able to take that question and help you to resolve that issues or answer that question. Third topic is modules, RAC database creation and management. How to create a RAC database by using DBCA or any other options. We are going to create it. Through the run installer also, we can install the software and create the database at a time. Okay, manual RAC database creation by using the word response file, we can do this as well. That we are going to discuss about that database installation and the storage management, creating the ASM disk. So ASM, we are going to use it for shared everything. RAC is a shared everything architecture. Standalone, I'll tell you that as part of the differences. Okay, we are using in a RAC environment ASM storage. Okay, creating the ASM disk, how we are going to install the libraries of ASM libraries, creating the disks, adding the disk, deleting the disks, how we are going to manage the ASM, and the difference between the non-ASM and ASM storages. Those we are going to clear complete knowledge from on related to the ASM storage. And the clusterware and node management, how we are going to manage the cluster start, stop, and node additions, node remove, and troubleshooting, what kind of issues we may get it. Those we are going to discuss. What is meant by the voting disk, OCR files, OLR files. Those we are going to discuss. What are all the components we are having in a cluster where each and everything I'm going to show it, that in practically in lab session and theoretically we will discuss those things. Load balancing in a database, or connection management or load balancing. It's not a kind of complete load balancing, but we have separate load balancing, network level load balancing, application level load balancing. Those are the different scenarios. But in case of RAC, we are having scan, single client access name, how it is going to work out, and what is mean by the TFA, transparent application failover. This I'll show you in a live, how we are going to enable the failover if one node is down. What are all the all the connections which are connected to the node 1. We are having 2 node rack. If what are all the connections on this one, we have 10 connections. Okay, the node is down. Immediately, what are all the connections it is there on this node, it should be switched to in this node. How that is happening? Because of TFA. Internally, it is going to use the virtual IPs to identify this, and private IP for the internal node communication. So a lot of things is there here. How the flow is going through, how the connections are going through. Okay, I'll show you the practically this thing. And the scan will help you on it. The load distribution, scan name will be there. It sits on here. Whatever the user is connected, they will connect it to the scan IP. That scan will distribute the connectivity. Like we have already 10 connections, 5 connections here, 5 connections here. 11th connection, 11th member or 11th application connected to the database. The scan will, they will connect it to the scan first. The scan will check the load on these 2 servers. If the load is high on this node 1, the connection, 11th connection is going to here, +1. If the load is high on this one, it won't go to here, it is going through this node 1. So based upon the load, the scan will redirect that connection to that instance, node 1 or node 2. How that is going to work, we will discuss as part of that theoretically, and practically we can see it as part of our course. Backup and recovery is very, very important, right? How we are going to manage the backups, how we are going to restore, if anything file, one control file is missed or redo log file is missed, as one of the data file is missed or corrupted, how we are going to restore it back. Why we need to take the backup? What is the importance of the backup? What are all the tools available in the market to take the backups and to do the recoveries operations? Those we will discuss completely end to end in a backup and recovery scenario. Security and auditing purpose, like how we are going to manage the security and our database. Who all can able to access this database? Suppose I have the database. I have this database. Who all can able to access? I need to restrict them. I need to provide the security to this database. So only authorized users can able to access. How we are going to create that users, providing the grants, privileges, for any audit issues, like how we are going to provide the user complaints, read write access, read only access, who is admin, who is non-admin. Those we are going to discuss about as part of the security and auditing, or you can say user management in a RAC. Those things we are going to discuss. Also patching and upgradations. Patching is very, very important, right? It's like simple term, if you want to tell what is mean by the patch. Patch is nothing but to fix a particular bug or to fix a particular issue. We call it as a patch. Why we need to apply the patch and which scenario we are going to apply the patch, and what type of patches we are having in this Oracle database. Those we will discuss clearly as part of the patching session. And upgrade. It's very, very simple term, right? Suppose you are using one lower version, Oracle keep on increasing or keep on developing their software versions from one version to another version, and they are going to release in the time frame of within 2 years or 3 years. They're going to release the new versions of the database. Like Oracle started with 1, now it is going through 23C. So now the version is going through in 23C. C means cloud. Okay. 19C also we are going to use high level, like I can say long-term support, and recent long-term support is 23C database. We will discuss those things. What are the versions we are having, which is used most business or most customers are using the version, and what is the long-term support versions. So those things we will discuss later on. As part of the architecture scenario, we will discuss those things. Upgrade means suppose some of the customers are using 19C database. Oracle already has been released 23C last year, and this year quarter, the first quarter itself, they have released for the production support as well. So if they want to upgrade their existing 19C database version to 23C, how we are going to do it? How many approaches we are having? How many modes of upgrade we are having? All those things we will discuss. One or two modes I'm going to show you in a lab. Okay, auto upgrade, DBA, manual upgrade, those types of upgrades we are having. By using Golden Gate, we can do these upgrades and nearly zero downtime operations. And data pumps we can use, auto upgrade jar file we can use to do that. DBUA we can use. These are all the manual upgrade we can do. So these are all the types of upgrades. So we will discuss all these things, and then we can take any one of the DBUA and auto upgrade operations. Now we are having multi-tenant architecture also. I'll tell you that in a couple of minutes. So these topics, how to upgrade, how to apply the patches on our environment, I'll show you practically. Troubleshooting, like basic, like what are all the tools we are going to use, identify the bottlenecks of the performance in our databases. RAC specific performance tuning, where we need to look the log files, how we are going to approach to troubleshoot, basic things we are going to discuss about as part of this troubleshooting and performance tuning related topics. All the tools which are available to work on this. And RAC in cloud, Oracle or AWS or Azure cloud. Now Oracle and Azure has been tie up with one, and they provided multi-cloud operations. So we'll discuss those things, what is mean by that, and how the databases and RAC cloud, those we will discuss it. RAC and multi-tenant databases, the difference between the multi-tenant and non-multi-tenant databases and the RAC databases. Multi-tenant database, we are going to configure with the RAC, how it is going to work out. Those we will discuss it. These are some advanced topics. And also we are going to make it as part of this course, scenarios, high availability considerations, how we are going to do that high availability, what are all the scenarios we need to be considered before going to enable the high availability, disaster recovery strategies, case studies, real world, anything, and preparing the resumes, interview questions we used to discuss, mock interviews I'm going to conduct, and everything, like most of the scenarios we're going to cover it as part of the real time, how I'm going to work, what are all the issues I faced. We are going to discuss those things as well as part of the real time, real world scenarios and best practices. Apart from these things, 12 modules, we are going to discuss about the uh, mock interviews and also repeated interview questions. Some organizations, they are going to share their JD, job descriptions. Through the job descriptions, we can able to prepare for the interview as well. That is very simple to track that kind of interviews. I'm going to give you the tips and tricks to crack the interviews. We will discuss those things as well. Preparing the resume build also, we are going to discuss about that. So these are all the topics where we are going to cover as part of Oracle RAC DBA course. Then we'll discuss simple thing today. What is mean by how many types of database we are having, and then we are going to see standalone database versus RAC database, and I'll take a question and answers later. Okay, how many types of databases we can configure in this one? Standalone database, SD means standalone database, or one instance, one database. So it's one-to-one mapping. I can say databases, mainly the differences of the standalone database and RAC databases. Here I'm going to, this is my one database server. Okay, here I have installed my operating system. On top of that, I have installed database software and I created the database. What is mean by the database? All the CRD files, control, redo log, and data files. So one server which holds my everything, software is there, instance. This is my database instance. This is my operating system, Linux. And this is my database instance plus database. We are going to access it from the single node, instance and database. So if any user wants to connect to this database, they have to connect with this instance first. From this instance, they are going to connect it. If I have 100 users, 100 users can able to connect to this instance and then this database. This is instance, okay, and this is the database. But in case of RAC, we used to have 2 nodes minimum, and our storage, our database is shared in shared everything kind of. This is shared nothing, no shared. Nothing has been shared because we are having only one instance. When we are calling as a shared, if one or more people is there in between them, if you want to share the information, if you want to share something, we call it as a sharing in between. But we are having only one node, standalone node, one server. On top of that, we have installed the database software and the database we have created. So this is one node, one instance belonging to one database. There is no other instances we are having to access it. So one-to-one mapping, one database, one instance mapping. This is standalone database. But in case of RAC we call it as a shared everything architecture. Shared everything architecture. It means we are having minimum 2 nodes. Maximum you can go with as per your availability. N number of nodes you can go ahead. As of now, we can take it as a 2 node. In this thing, what we are going to see it, node 1, node 2. I'm going to install the operating system. I'm going to install the software, DB software. Sorry, it's a grid software I need to install, grid infrastructure. On top of this OS, I need to install grid infrastructure. On top of grid infrastructure, I need to install the DB software. Here, DB software. On top of this, I am going to install the database, CRD files. So 3 layers we are having here, but here we are having only 2 layers. Extra layer is grid infrastructure. extra layer is grid infrastructure. But here we are going to install the database. No, right? It is the database which we have installed. It's commonly, we are not going to install in this node or this node. Commonly, we have installed this node. That database has been used here. This we call it as a ASM storage, shared everything storage. So this instance can able to connect to this storage and all the CRD files, control redo log files, your password files, okay, and so on, etc. All the files will be there. This we call it as a database, RAC database. Suppose I have 10 users. They want to connect to this database. So they have to connect to either this instance or this instance. Based upon the scan IP will be there, right? User will connect it to the scan will redirect your connection either this one or this one. As per the load on these nodes. Those we are going to accessing the instance. So 10 users is there, 5 users can able to access this instance, 5 users can able to access this instance. And another 10 users came into the picture. Again, the scan will redirect 5 connections to here and 5 connections to here. Not exactly the 5, the load and the usage of the user sessions. Suppose here, as of now, 10 users connected here and 10 users connected here. Okay, and then another user is trying to connect it. At the time of this 10 same is there, but scan needs to be redirect any one of that, right? These 10 users are making 1 GB data and its load is there almost 70% utilized. But here these 10 users, whatever you connected to the node to, they like 500 MB, less than half GB or half GB data they are going to generate it. Its usage is 60%. Load on the server is 60%. The load is very low, right? Even though here 10 members and here is the 10 connections we are having. Scan will redirect the 11th connection to node 2. Why? Because load is very less, even though connections are matching, say. That much of brilliance or the concept is there with the scan. Okay, that we are not going to say a scan connected to node 2, a scan, this user you can connect it with the node 1. No, scan will decide it. Scan will have complete information, which node is having how much load on the servers. According to that, that will redirect the connections. Okay, what I want to show is here, we will discuss more as part of the architectures and the things. Here, suppose this instance has been down, node 1 is down. All the connections which are there on this node, these 10 connections are redirected to this node. High availability. One node is down, another one will be there. And the scalability. If the node is available, the load will be distributed mutually, like what eventually, and accessing the similar shared database. But here, if the node is down, what all the connections is connected, everything is down. There is no high availability, right? Why? Because it's a standalone database, we don't have any availability scenarios. But in case of RAC, we have high availability is there. One node is down, we can access the same database from the another instance. That is the RAC everything. Okay. Standalone and one database. You can use standalone database ASM storage or local storage. That is possible. For RAC, you can use ASM storage or ACFS, ASM cluster file system storage. Either this one or this one. Oracle strongly recommend to go with ASM storage. Automatic storage management. Okay. And yeah, most of the things are using either one node or standalone database or RAC. 1 or 2 nodes, minimum 2 nodes you can go, or more nodes you can go ahead and that. Okay, that's all about this thing. Course duration and start date. I already discussed the course duration is 35 hours minimum. Start date from the April. 35 hours course duration, and the course start date from 9th April 2024, 7:30 p.m. IST to 8:30 p.m. IST. Okay, these are all the timings where we are going to 9th April, we are going to start it. And here I have mentioned course timings is this. Only weekdays. Weekdays batch, Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. And the fee structure is a 15K we are going to charge. We are providing the discount as well. Contact me on one-on-one. Mentioned member, this number or this mail ID. You can pay through online or GPay or PhonePe, or through, if you are paying from different countries, I'll share that account numbers and the code of the country so that you can pay the amount. That you can contact me on this WhatsApp number or call me so that I'll share those details. So today is the last day to register, and you will get the offers later on, like tomorrow and after tomorrow. If you are going to register, you may not get the offer or discounts which are going to provide it. Minimum 1K we are going to provide the discount. Minimum. If you are going to register today, we are going to provide the 1K discount. If you are going to register tomorrow and after tomorrow, that will not get it. You have to pay complete 15K amount. Yes, now it's open for you guys if you have any doubts or clarification. Okay. This course has been completely designed as part of the labs. So we have given this, and also I'm going to show you the lab sessions, how the database connectivity happen, how we need to connect to the servers. Okay, suppose if I want to connect it to my grid user, let me maximize it. So I have connected to the grid user. By using ID, we can able to identify which user I have connected. Then check the services which are running on grid services and database services, PSIF, pipegraph, small thing. So my ASM instance is running. So plus symbol, whatever it is showing, it is instance. It means instance. It's a ASM instance for storage. RACS1 is my database instance, okay, which is installed under Oracle user. ASM has been installed under grid user. So I have connected to the grid. Now I need to set the environment dot vara env plus ASM instance. Then I have set my environment. Now I want to check my cluster services. Go to the home location, bin, check with CRSCTL stat resource -t. I want to see the status of my cluster resources and local resources. These are my cluster resources. Archiver, this group is alive and it is running on all the 3 nodes. ASM listener is running on all the 3 nodes. These groups are mounted. If one of the thing is offline, then these groups are not mounted on all these nodes. Suppose somebody will ask you, my node is not starting. I'm unable to start the node 3. You can check this resource. If it is showing offline, you can work on that as part of that. I mean, based upon the log file of that issue, we need to mount the properly the storage. ASM these groups are mounted or not. Okay. And the listeners, scan listeners are running on all the nodes. My scan listener 1 is running on node 2, 2 is running on node 3, scan listener 3 is running on node 1. So I have 3 nodes. So these are the local resources, local listener, database levels, local instance level, and the network. This is for the flex, ASM flex. What is mean by the ASM flex? We will discuss about that. So these are my cluster services. These are working fine. If you want to see init, that is only on which node you have connected. On that node only, it is going to show you the status. Also here you can see the instances, 3 node rack, right? All the nodes, rack host 1, host 2, host. We have node 1, node 2, node 3. Database instances are running fine. Okay, how we are going to check with? By using srvctl, srvctl, CTL status database -d RACS. srvctl status database. What is our database name? We need to check that. Okay, RACS DB or RACS. ts-ef status spelling we need to check. status. Okay, RACS is our database name. Check this one. Instance 1 is running on this node. Instance 2 is running. Instance 3 is running. So all my 3 nodes are running fine. Database level and the cluster level, all the services are continuing. Okay. Disk1 will be there. This is not required. It's for Exadata servers. Those we will discuss it later. In this way, we are going to manage the cluster services and the database services. How we are going to connect with the database. Now I want to connect to my database, switch it to Oracle user and check the database status. ESMA. Set the environment for my Oracle RACS1. Now connected to the database SQL plus RACS DBA. Now select name comma open underscore mode from V database. So my RAC database is up and running. If I can use GV dollar, that will global view. That is, in case of RACs, you want to go ahead and then use the global views. All the three nodes it is going to running it. And we have one more view, GV dollar instances. How many instances we are having, we can able to see it. What is the instance number, ID, number, name, and which host it that is running from GV dollar instance. So I have three instances, RACS1, RACS2 host, RACS3 host. These are running on this node 1, node 2, node. Likewise, set lines 200, column, host name, format, A25. So this is my instance ID 1, 2, 3 and instance number 1, 2, 3. If you are going to change it, we can change it also. And what is the instance name? RACS1 is my instance name 1, instance name 2, instance 3. What is meant by the instance? We will learn as part of the architecture and all. And this instance 1 is running on this node, instance 2 is running on this node, instance 3 is running on this node. Clearly, we are having 3-node RAC. So how we are going to manage, how we are going to apply the patches, everything we can cover it. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to provide these recording sessions on day wise. Let me show you that as well. We used to have a drive. Regular recordings I'm going to provide. So this is my previous 3 batches. I'm going to keep last 3 batches, and those who are registered this course, immediately they will get this access. These are my previous batch, last batch, which is ended on March 28th or something. Yeah, 28th. So complete sessions, day wise, I'm going to upload it. You will get these things 1 year, 6 months to 1 year. You used to get this. Here I have given all my virtual machines. So 2-node rack, if you want to install in your laptop, if RAM is not supported, I want to give you that as well, right? Let me give you. So if you want to configure 2-node rack, each node minimum 8 GB, you need to spend the storage. 8 GB, 8 GB. So total 16 GB you required. Out of 16 plus you have your machine storage, Windows operating system, it is going to take around 3 GB, right? So 20 GB is required. Minimum RAM on your system to configure 2-node rack, node 1 and node 2, you require 20 GB. In that case, if you don't have the 20 GB, you are having only 16 GB RAM. What you need to do, you have to install the virtual machine, this one. This machine you need to install, and then you can download these 2 RAR files. I'll give you these 2 files as well. And then you can import those 2 files into your machine with minimum of 6 GB or 6 GB or 4 GB, 4 GB you can spend. 4 GB to 4 GB. Then you can practice it, but it's very, very slow, but you can able to manage it. 4 GB or 5 GB memory. Still you are having only 8 GB. That is very difficult to manage it. 8 GB RAM is not at all support, but 16 GB we can manage it, but 20 GB we can able to install it. You can do the node addition, node deletions, those you can do it. Minimum of 16 GB I'll recommend it. More than 16 GB is there, it is good. And the storage is 150 gig, 100 to 150 gig is fine. Not more than that. Storage, RAM is 16 gig is required on your system. Okay, these are the basic software requirements. So I'll provide you these things as well. And also I'm going to provide you the patches, all the softwares which are required. 19C grid, you want to download, you don't need to go for anywhere and download it. I provide you everything. So I'm providing the access to this and downloading the operating system, downloading the latest patches, RU patches, what is meant by the RU and what is meant by the CPU. All these patches we are going to discuss it. Also, I'm providing those accesses to you as well in the Google Drive. So you can download everything from here. And also if you are missing one session, next day you can go through the day one session, whatever we have discussed. And then day two, you can cover it as part. Before joining to the day two session, you can go through the day one session. Day wise, we are going to upload these sessions. Okay, I'm going to provide you this access as well, previous recorded sessions and also live session. Now we are going to prepare April batch. That also I'm going to provide. Yeah, any questions? Okay. If you don't have any questions, then we will finalize it. And 9th of April, we are going to start the batch. 9th of April, evening 7:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. regularly.
Okay, thank you.
No, I've already like gone through the stuff. Where do we go? Well, now, this close now.
Guys, somebody is talking. Okay. So the course is going to start from the 9th of April. If you have any queries, reach out to me on the contact numbers. Okay. Thank you.